Hello and welcome to Storytime at 9 once again. So, just like every other Saturday, today we travel to another continent. Every month we are trying to take you to different continents so that there's a diversity of your cultural experience. So, this month we have already been to Asia, and now we are traveling to South America, to the lovely country of Paraguay, about which I know. I don't know about you people, but I know that when I was a child in school, I knew very little about Paraguay. I would have wanted to know much more, but then we didn't have the Buckle Library then, we didn't have Storytime at 9 then, and we didn't have this wonderful storyteller that we have today, Sonia Esquivel, one of the finest storytellers from Paraguay, a wonderful musician as well. If you saw her, heard her sing, we didn't have her also. So we were not really lucky that time. I feel envious of you people. That brings me to the question. There was one of the principals told me that some parents were asking, what are the, why we are not letting children tell stories. I think the richness of this cultural experience is a tremendous learning, because we have thousands of more than 1,000 of you who are joining the live session each time, and more people joining later. It is obviously not possible for us to give a chance for you to speak. Unfortunately, we would have loved to do that, but we can't do that. But I'm sure many of you realize the value, and the others I would urge, see the value in this rich immersion, rich exposure that children are getting, the way the imagination is getting fired, even if they're not getting a chance to speak themselves. So please, I'm sure you appreciate that. I'm sure many of you definitely appreciate that. And thank you very much. But I have one request here. So there were many people who were asking me that, there seem to be more than 3,000 people who see each video of yours. One video has gone up to 5,000 views, many of them above 3,000 views. But why are the subscribers so few? And so I would request all of you, please, we need to tell them that no, all the subscribers are genuine. All the people who are seeing the videos, who are seeing these wonderful storytelling sessions, really love the sessions. So please show your love by subscribing to our channel. So most of you are on YouTube, so please subscribe to the YouTube channel, the Bakul Foundation channel where you're seeing it. If you're on Facebook, please like the page, so that way you also get the notifications. Now, having said that, so I'm sure you will do that. Thank you very much in advance. Aditya Das had this question, why the name Bakul? And I'm very happy that you asked this question, Aditya, because today is a very important day. Most of us are in the state of Orissa in India, and today happens to be the birthday of the biggest leader that Orissa has had in modern Orissa has had, Pandit Gopabandhu Das, who is considered like the Gandhi of Orissa, who was one of the founding fathers of the state. He was born today, October 10th. And, he and his friends, they had started a school in a grove of bakul trees. And that is why they called it the Bakula Bona Vidyalaya. In a cluster of bakul trees, they created this school. And this school was the cradle of the freedom movement in Orissa, of the whole nationalistic struggle. So the purpose of the school was not only to teach children, but also to create the future leaders of the state. And we have taken inspiration from this person, Pandit Gopabandhu Das, and this initiative, the Bakula Bana Vidyalaya, which is why we have taken the name of Bakul, and that is why in the logo you see there's a tree. Okay, so I hope that answers your question, and it's wonderful that this question was asked, and I have this opportunity to answer this on the day that is the birthday of the person and his initiative, from which we have taken inspiration. But that's it about Bakul. Today is about Paraguay and about Sonia. So Sonia will tell us stories, and after the stories, she's going to, as many of you know the format, She is going to present to you about Paraguay. She's going to tell you about her country and its culture. And then she will be there to answer questions on Paraguay, on herself, on books, on storytelling. So many of you have already asked questions through the advanced question form that we had shared. And many of you, you can, we will disable the comments box, particularly on YouTube right now. But when the stories end, we will enable them again, and you can again ask questions, anything relating to the stories there. So that's it for now. I'll come back later. And I hope all of you know that last Sunday we started another initiative. So now every Saturday, of course, we have the storytelling in English, where we take children to a different country each time with one of the finest storytellers from that country, like we have Sonia today from Paraguay. But then every Sunday now at 9 p.m., the same time, the same channels, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, we are telling stories in Odia. And it is called Robby Bar, Goppo Bar. And there's a little song also. Those of you who know the song, you can sing along with me. Robby Bar, Goppo Bar, Goppo Suni Bare, Robby Bar, Goppo Bar, Goppo Suni Bar. Sonia, you want to sing along with me?
I would love to. I would love to.
Let's try.
Teach me the lyrics.
Okay, I'm just sending you the lyrics. Okay, sing along. Robby Bar, Goppo Bar. Once again.
Okay. Robby Bar,
Goppo Bar, Goppo Suni Bare. Very good.
Oh, I'm learning. Robby Bar. Okay.
Robby Bar, Goppo Bar,
Goppo Suni Bare.
Robby Bar, Goppo Bar. Very good. Thank you so much. Wonderful, wonderful. You've learned Odia now. You've learned a language. Very good. So with that, over to you, Sonia, and your wonderful story.
Thank you, Sujit. It's such a lovely experience to be here. I'm so happy I've been invited to join you and to bring you a little bit of my country, some of my stories. And well, we're going to start now with the first story I've been told. Okay, the first story I've been told came into this little bag. This little bag is made of fiber from the Aboriginal people in Paraguay. And here they put this. What they told me is that when I was born, they gave me 4 gifts. My parents, my grandparents, my uncles, and my aunts, they gave me a free bird, so I could learn to love the air. They gave me a seashell, so I could learn to love the sea. And they gave me a beautiful flower, so I could learn to love the earth. And they gave me this little bottle, this closed little bottle, and they told me, do not open it ever, 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 so you will learn to love the mystery. So, learning to love the mystery, I went up here and there, and a little bit there, and a little bit here, and I was collecting stories, mystery stories, and I'm putting them here in these little bottles. And I'm going to share with you some of these stories, some of these mysterious stories from Paraguay. And I'm going to start with this one. What do you think? This one. This one has the smell. This one has the smell of a dark forest, humid soil, deep, deep rivers, and it smells like perfume. It's a perfume of a princess, but this princess is not a princess in the palace with satin dresses and gold ornaments. No, this princess is the daughter of a cacique. Cacique. The cacique is a chieftain of the tribe, and he has this daughter named Sapuru. Sapuru. And the story tells that when Sapuru got the age of getting married, her father, the cacique, get to her and he told her, Shemimbu, my daughter, it is time for you to choose a husband. And what do you think? Do you think this princess wants to get married? Oh no, she is not the kind of princess waiting in the highest tower for her prince to come and kiss her. Oh no, this princess, she wasn't in a hurry to get married, but she couldn't tell this to her father. He will get mad at her. So she cleverly thought about it for a few days. And when she got the idea, the brilliant idea, she ran into her father Chosa, her father hut. And she got to him and she told him, Father, I will get married, but only to the man who brings me the most precious gift. And there she stand up, looking from the corner of her eye how her father was going to react. And she was waiting and waiting, and then his father was thinking and thinking, and then he said, That's a very good idea, my daughter. Spread the news here and there in this tribe and in the neighbors' tribes, everywhere. So the news crossed the rivers, across the hills, and it got to all the tribes around. And there, in one of them, there he was. There was Nyandu. Nyandu was a handsome young man who was actually in love with this princess since long time ago. I don't even know when they were kids probably. And Nyandu, he was hopeless. He never thought he would get close to the princess. So when he heard the news, he couldn't believe his luck. Of course, he was going to find the perfect gift for the princess. He was going to find something beautiful in the jungle. He knew the jungle as the palm of his hand. So that was so easy. He was going to get there and just bring the most precious gift. So he got into the jungle. He crossed the deep rivers. He climbed the highest trees and up and down the hills until he got there to the edge of the jungle. And he looked up and he looked down to his right, to his left, and he found nothing. Nothing that could be that precious gift for the princess. He was sad. He was exhausted, but mostly he was heartbroken. He found an old tree. He found shelter in a hole in an old tree. He sat there very sadly, and he fell asleep. He fell asleep in the noise of a night in the forest, in the jungle. then when the sun rised and he woke up and he looked up and he saw something there, just above him. It was something beautiful. It was like a marvelous fabric made of silver strings and with little tiny crystals that shine with all colors as the sunlight passes through it. That was the perfect gift for Sapuru. He reached his hands to grab it. He was nearly there, and then when he touched it, it felt apart in his hands. Oh no, it's impossible. I'm not gonna get anything for the princess. And then he went back home, across the forest, the deep rivers, the highest trees, the hills, and up and down until he got to the village. And he got inside his hut. He lay down and he slept the whole day and the whole night. The next morning, his mother came, and as all mothers, she knew already that there was something wrong in his heart. So she sat down there next to him and tenderly asked him, "Oh, my son, why are you so sad?" And he burst and told her about the gift to get married to Sapuru, about the forest, about the hills, about the trees, about that old tree and the hole, and how he fell asleep, and then when he woke up he saw that marvelous fabric that fell apart in his hands, and how desperate he was. His mother listened to him tenderly, patiently. She held his hand so warmly, and then she looked in his eyes and told him with determination, "Enough of sadness, my son. That is not the attitude. Take me to that old tree and we will find that precious gift." And so they went into the jungle. They got in the deepest rivers. They climbed the highest trees and up and down the hills, and then they get to the edge of a forest. And there it was. And there it was, in the hole of the old tree, a marvelous brand new fabric. Nyandu was so tired. He had no hope, but his mother did. He fell asleep, and while he was sleeping, she stayed awake all night, and then by the moonlight she saw a little tiny spider weaving her web, her silver web. Tea-dye, lie-dye-dye-dee-dye-dee-dye-dye. And the spider was going up and down, right to left. Lie-dye-dye-dye-dee-dye-dye-dye. Lie-dye-dye-dee-dye-dye-dye-dye. And the mother knew exactly what to do. She grabbed one by one her silver hair and she began to weave them just like the spider. Da-dee-da-da-da-dee-da-dee-da-dee. La-da-da-dee-da-dee-da-dee-da-dee. La-dee. La-da-da-dee-da-dee. And when the sun was rising, Nyandu woke up and he saw his mother just in front of him, and she was offering him these beautiful earrings made of the wonderful, marvelous fabric, just exactly the same as the mother. That was the most precious gift for Saburo. So they went quickly, they ran into the village and they got into the cacique's, the chieftain hut. And there she was, the beautiful Saburo. He kneeled to offer her the beautiful gift her mother had made. And no need to say that Saburo found him the most precious gift, and she was touched by it. And no need to say that they had a beautiful, beautiful ceremony for their marriage. And no need to say that they had happy children and grandchildren and great grandchildren. And even today, us, the great, 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 great grandchildren, we still tell the story of the Nyanduti. The Nyanduti is the spider web, is this marvelous fabric made of the silver hair of wisdom of a mother and her love for her son. Well, that was the story of the Nyanduti. The Nyanduti, I'm going to show you some pictures of it later on, but I just wanted to share this story. Nyanduti means that, exactly that, spider web, and is this fabric that we use for many, many purposes, and I'm going to show you the pictures later on. So, shall we continue? I'm going to find another story. Let's see what this little bottle has inside. This bottle smells like fire, like night, like lights in the night. And this story, the Guarani people are, they are the people that were living in Paraguay long time before the Spanish arrived there. And they told the story of how their God gave everything. Tupa. Tupa was the good God, the spirit of good. And Tupa created the earth and the moon. He created the forest, the rivers. He created the butterflies and the leopards and the monkeys. And he created the trees and the flowers. And then he created women and men. But people in this big and mysterious world, when the night came, when it was dark, they were afraid. They couldn't see anything. They were afraid and they were cold. So Tupa, the good God, decided to give them the fire, and he blew very gentle. He blew to create the bonfires. And when people saw the fire and they saw how it lighted up the night and they could see their faces, they could dance, they could sing, and they could tell the story they were just about to create. But then there was Anya, the spirit of evil, and everything that was good. He hated everything that was good for the hearts of women and men. And when he saw that fire and its warmth and the dances, and when he listened to the singing and the stories, he got furious. He got furious. He couldn't believe it. I have to turn them off. And so he blew and blew and blew with all his power until he turned all the bonfires off. In the total darkness, my friends, in the total darkness, Anya, the spirit of evil, he felt victorious. Ay, ay, ay. And you see, Tupa is the spirit of good, the good God. So he cannot kill Anya. But he can for sure give him a good fight. So Tupa thought about it for 7 days. And 7 nights. And after those 7 days and 7 nights, he came with the most brilliant idea. Yes, he decided to create the Isondo. Tai, hi, tai, lai, tai, 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 the fireflies. Tai, 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 tai. And the fireflies, they blew together. Die, 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 over the forest. Die, 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 over the rivers. Die, 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 die. Lighten up the night. Light, light, light. And when Anya saw them, when he saw those little light flying, he thought, it's impossible. Flying bonfires. I have to turn them all off. And off they went, chasing the fireflies and blowing and flying and flying and blowing with all his power. And then he was far away, chasing the fireflies. And then Tupa began to blow as well, but very gentle, as if he was telling a secret. He blew over the ashes and the embers of the bonfires that Anya turned off. And little by little, one by one, he turned off the bonfires on, and the people were happy again, and they could see in the night, and they could dance, and they could sing, and they could tell the stories they were just about to create. And what do you think? I think you would like to know what happened to Anya, don't you? Well, I'm going to tell you. Anya is still today blowing and blowing and flying and blowing. He is furious and deceived. But because Anya, he doesn't know, as you know, and I know, that the light of the fireflies can never, ever be turned off. And well, That is, well, that was the story of the fireflies and how Tupa, the good god, created the fireflies. Do you have many fireflies? I'm gonna ask you a few things about India as well, because, you know, uh, it's so far away from my country, and I would really like to know things about you too. So please, then you will tell me if you have many fireflies in India. So shall we continue with another story? um, I'm gonna prepare a little bit here, so I will need just a minute, because this story, it has, let me see what it smells to. Yeah, this one smells like the wind, in August. The wind in August in Paraguay, dry and very strong. It smells like the sky, the clouds in the sky. And it smells like children's games. So we are gonna play a little bit in here. So I'm gonna show you this, okay? Because that morning, I'm gonna take a little bit of water before. That morning, the fireflies, the same that we were telling in the last story, the fireflies, the owls, the crickets, and all the little animals that lit up the night in the jungle, they began to fade. It was time for them to rest. And the toucans, the alligators, the anteaters, and thousands of other animals began to run and to fly and to climb the trees and make all kinds of noises. You haven't told us stories about people for a long time, said the toucan. Can you see the toucan? While they were all watching in amazement, howled Mr. Toad. Don Sapo was throwing here and there and everywhere burukuja. Burukuja. Burukuja seeds is passion fruit seeds. He was scattering burukuja seeds everywhere. Why are you doing this? Asked the crocodile. So the Bengal tigers, who are very dangerous, don't attack us. But don't Sapo, Mr. Toad, in this part of the world, the Chaco, we don't have Bengal tigers, said the armadillo. But it's because the Burukuja seeds are very effective. Tell us things about people, asked the jaguarite, the leopard. And then the turtle was joining them. Let me see. I know what I can tell you. I can tell you that almost every man and every woman had a scar here, just beneath, just under the chin. And What does it mean? Asked the beautiful heron. I don't know, but I would love to know it. Maybe some of you can investigate the matter. He didn't stop talking when the toucan from the top of a tree began to cry. Look, up there, up there! Two flying birds, two beautiful flying birds, and they all look up there and they saw the blackbird and the red bird flying high and high up in the sky. Oh, I think the blackbird is the hawk, but I don't know which one is the red one. I've never seen a red bird like that. Oh, it's it's a beautiful bird. It's a bird of fire. It's the most beautiful bird in the world, said the heron. And as they all watched and chat, amazed by the birds were flying high and high and high above in the sky. La ra la ra ra dee ra ra dee ra la ra dee ra la ra dee ra la ra dee ra ra dee ra ra dee ra dee ra dee ra la ra ra la ra ra la ra. Hey, flying birds, vengan a saludarnos. Come and join us, said the toucan. The black hawk moved his wings to say hello, and the red bird made a straight turn, and he began to fall. Oh no! What is wrong? What is wrong? Is he hurt? And all the animals were looking in desperation, and they couldn't help him. And the hawk was flying beside him, trying to avoid him from falling, but he couldn't stop that. And then he was falling and falling and falling, and when he was nearly reaching the top of the tallest tree, he straightened up, and then he glided, and he glided, and he glided until he fell there in the front of the animals who were looking in despair. Oh, I don't want to see. Is he dead? No, he is not dead, said the toad. But he doesn't breathe, and he doesn't flutter, and he doesn't move. Oh, my friend, he is not dead because he was never alive, said the toad. How can it be he was never alive? What do you mean? Oh, my friends, I'm going to explain to you, and this comes very, very handy for those of you who were asking me stories from the people. This is one of the good things that people make. Do they make firebirds? It's not a bird, and it's not a made of fire, but it flies beautiful like a bird. This must have come from I know, from the botanical garden in Asuncion, where they make a beautiful kites. Kites? What are kites? They all ask. This, what you are all seeing. And what are they good for? Well, for nothing and for everything, which is what good things, beautiful things are for, to make us happy. And what are we going to do with it now? Um, I think we can hang it, from this blossom ombu, so we can see it every day. Why? Why would we like to see it every day? Ah, my friend, do not forget that the most important thing is joy. And I'm sorry, Mr. Toad. I have a question. Is joy, is happiness in the cats? Yes, a little bit there and a little bit in other things. For instance, in the stories that you always ask me, there is joy too. That is something that each one of you has to discover. And the first thing to do is to search. I'm going to search my joy, said the crocodile, and he jumped into the water. And me, and they went all flying, running, climbing the trees, going around here and there and everywhere. Because it's so beautiful to seek for joy. And from time to time, they pass in front of the red bird. So they don't forget to look at the beautiful things where we can find a little bit of happiness. So, did you enjoy playing with my friends here? I'm going to show you a little bit here. Well, that was it. That was the stories I had to tell you, to share with you. Oh, the toucan. Happy to be there to join you.
Thank you so much, Sonia. It was lovely. And
Thank you.
And those of you children who've been listening for quite a few sessions, you see, what is remarkable also is how there are different, I mean, you're listening to storytellers, but each storyteller coming from a different tradition of storytelling, brings a little diversity. I mean, we have a beautiful backdrop there to Sonia, made of fabric, and then you have all these props that she's using. And I love the way the birds, came and then went on the tree. So there's such a diversity, to music, to culture. So Bharadwaj, I think, was asking, how we're helping with knowledge. Of course, Bakul has libraries set up entirely through the images that you saw at the beginning. The libraries have been set up entirely through books donated by people like you. And, we are basically trying to demonstrate the power of volunteerism. When people get together, what happens? And when you have people like these wonderful storytellers coming and you're giving an insight into different kinds of imagination, that is the thing that we are working towards. But anyway, before we move on with the presentation about Paraguay, a short film about a campaign that some of you are already familiar with. But just to remind you, we'll just see this film.
Give me freedom, give me fire, give me vote, take me higher. Give me freedom, give me fire, give me vote, take me higher.
So as many of you know, we are running this campaign for children who do not have access, who cannot listen to our stories, who cannot attend classes in school because they do not have a digital device. They do not have a smartphone. So those of you who have, and please spread the word among your friends, family, network. So even if you don't, if anyone has a spare phone to donate, or if not, they can go to this link, giving.bakul.org, and they can contribute as little as 100 rupees so that we can buy a new phone and give it to the children who don't have such a phone, who cannot listen to stories, who cannot attend classes because they don't have phones. That's it. But then, and once again, those of you who've joined late, if you've not subscribed to our YouTube channel where you're watching it, or like the Facebook page, please do that. We'll be very grateful, because then you'll also get the notifications for the other stories. But now, the more important part, to know about the culture and the country of Paraguay. Over to you, Sonia.
Thank you, Sujit. It's so lovely to be here and to share with you. I'm going to share with you some images from Paraguay. I think you might like it, and I'm going to tell you a little bit of my country. So, to begin with, the flag. Have you seen the flag of Paraguay? It's red and white and blue. And it has, on one side, it has a star, and on the other side, which is not here, you have a lion, a brave lion. So I just wanted to show you how far away we are. So look at all the road we have to make in order to meet next time. As soon as the coronavirus goes away, we can get together and tell more stories. And well, this is where Paraguay is in South America. As you can see, Paraguay is here in the heart of South America. It really doesn't have sea border, and we are surrounded by Brazil, which is huge, and then Argentina, which is huge, and then again Bolivia, and here we are. Here we are, tiny, little, beautiful Paraguay. And Sujit told me that he was amazed that we have beaches in Paraguay, and we don't have sea coast, but we do have river coast. So the people enjoy the summers in the beaches of the rivers in different parts of in the capital, which is Asuncion, and in some other cities as well in the countryside. Well, I wanted to tell you that Paraguay is divided by this river. This is a river, the River Paraguay. It's one of the rivers that you were seeing in the photos. I'm going to show you later. This is the oriental region, and this is the occidental or Chaco. And they're very different. These are some pictures from the oriental region. So many streams and falls, very, very green. We don't have a highest peak. We don't have the Himalayas. We don't have nothing like that. The highest peak is 800 meters above the sea level. So can you imagine? But it's really, really beautiful and green. And here you have some others peaks, small peaks, but beautiful, as you can see. I just wanted to share this picture because I love the dirt red roads. Do you have that color of dirt, of soil in India? Is really, really, really red, and you can see like long dirt roads across the countryside. Here you have, this is the Paraguay River, and this bridge gets together the two regions. The oriental is here is the capital, and this is the Chaco, which I'm going to show you now. The Chaco, as you can see, is very, very different. So it has a lovely landscape, very flat, very, very flat. It has some wetlands, but it has some very dry land too. So as you can see, I love the sunsets and the sunrises in Paraguay. They're just beautiful. I guess in your country too. Well, this is the capital. This is Asuncion. It's not a big city. Nowadays, it maybe has 1,700,000 inhabitants. It's not too big, but it's the biggest city in Paraguay, and it's a city. It has is on the coast of the River Paraguay. Oh, some pictures of Asuncion. I was born in Asuncion. So this is the government palace, and you can see it's full of flags. We are very proud of our flags. This is the cathedral, and this is my favorite place. There's two pictures here, very green, are my favorite. Is from my favorite place in Asuncion, which is the botanical garden. Do you remember that the toad was telling them that the kites botanical garden? Well, they come from there, because when we were kids, we used to go there to the botanical garden, and my parents will buy a kite because there is a big space and you can fly the kites without worrying that they will hang up on a cable or electricity cable or something like that. So this is my favorite. And look at this tree, it's just gorgeous. It's called it's not coming the name of it, higuera, but it's a beautiful place. Okay, some of the animals from Paraguay. Well, I guess you know some of them. The anteater. This is the anteater. So beautiful. I don't know the name of this in English. The name in Spanish is carpincho. This is the armadillo. The jaguarete. I show you the word jaguarete in wooden. The jaguarete is the leopard. It's a small leopard we have there. And this is the tapir with its baby. Oh, it's some birds. Here you have the heron, the beautiful heron, a parrot, colorful. We have plenty of colors in parrots. And this, please remember this bird, because I'm going to show you something special about him. This bird is called pájaro campana. Pájaro means bird, and campana means bell. Ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling, bell. Okay, so this is a bell bird, will be in English. But remember that, because he sings very, very, very loud, and there is music based on his singing. Oh, gosh. Well, my favorite trees. I miss them so much. They blossom from the pink ones. They blossom in August, and then they blossom the yellow ones in September, more or less, and then a little bit later the white ones. This is the lapacho. It's a beautiful trees, and when you see Asuncion from the sky, when you arrive in August by plane, you can see the city is full of them. Oh, yes, my favorite thing is to walk on the sidewalks when all the flowers they fell and they fall and they make a carpet out of flowers. And here you have a close-up from a pink and yellow one. So that is the lapacho, my favorite tree. And this is another very important plant in Paraguay, because I show you at the beginning a little bag made of fiber. This is the fiber I told you about, caraguatá. The caraguatá, it grows very easily, and the Aboriginal people, they make handcraft with it. They make baskets and hats and bags, all sorts of things, beautiful things. And talking about Aboriginal people, I want to share something very special about the Aboriginal people in Paraguay. The Aboriginal people in Paraguay, they didn't live they didn't live as huge pyramids or big monuments. They inherited us with something really, really important, and very important for us as storytellers. They inherited us language. We in Paraguay, we speak officially 2 languages. One is Spanish, and the other one is Guarani. Guarani is the language spoken by many Aboriginal groups. But there are many other languages, Aboriginal languages too. But then the Guarani is really, really important. And it's, even though they try to kill their culture, they try to make their language disappear, because they did everything they could to make the language disappear and to make Spanish the only language. The Guarani survived, and it's very important, and it's spoken by 70% of the population. If you go to Paraguay and you go to the countryside, maybe you will find people that only speak Guarani and don't speak Spanish. As, as that, it is important. And they were nomads. They were nomads before. And so that means they were moving around. Actually, they were living in what Paraguay is now, and some part of Brazil, some part of Argentina, and some part of Uruguay too. But then even today, they preserve their traditions. They have their celebrations, their rituals, and their clothing, as you can see. So it's very important in our country. And they gave us too, not only language, but they gave us the botanical knowledge. They knew so much about the plants in that region. They could heal everything, anything with plants. So here you have this is a typical, you will see these women, ladies, having all these herbs, and this, I don't know how you call this. This is, in Spanish is mortero. It's something that you can press to press the leaves to get, or the roots to get the best of it. And it's that important that if you have something, a health issue, you will go to these ladies and you will tell them, oh, listen, I have a stomach ache, or I have a cold, or I have this or that in my liver, or whatever. And they will tell you, oh, take this or take that. And they will give you something that will for sure help heal you. And talking about plants, there is one very important plant in Paraguay, which is the Gerba Mate. The Gerba Mate. You had Paula a few weeks ago, and it's we shared that with Argentina. She was telling you about the mate. Well, the Gerba Mate is this plant here. These are the leaves, as you can see. There are small bushes. It's not even a tree. And what we do is we dry them, and then we use them like, it's like, it would be like an infusion, like a tea, isn't it? But in Argentina, they drink that with hot water. And in Paraguay, as it's very, very, very hot, I was telling Sujit last week, it was springtime and it was 41 degrees. Can you imagine? So people drink the mate with cold water. As you can see, the lady here is like a straw. You put the yerba inside the glass or the pot, and then you put some water, and then you drink it. And another interesting thing is that, do you remember the ladies selling all the medicinal plants before? Where you put them in your tereré. Tereré is the name of this drink. You put the herbs inside the water, and then you drink it with the yerba mate. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna make you hungry already, because I love Paraguayan food. Well, I'm vegetarian, so I'm not putting here. Probably I'm making I'm taking away some of a typical food, but I'm gonna put here all the vegetarian food that I love. This is called beju. Beju is made out of manioc or yuca flour, and cheese, and you can put oil or butter, but it's really, really, really delicious. And I was supposed to make some for you to show you my production, but I didn't have the time today. So next time, or when I come to visit you, I'm gonna prepare for you some Paraguayan food. I really love to prepare that. So this is like a tortilla, as you can see, made of yuca flour and cheese and milk and oil or butter. Oh, this is the sopa paraguaya. Sopa paraguaya is like a savory cake made of corn flour, maize, corn flour, and cheese. We use a lot of cheese, and milk and onions. It's really good. And you can see here, this is a special oven that we use in Paraguay. It's made of brick and clay, and you turn on, you light up the fire inside, and you get the place really, 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 really hot, and then you put the food inside and it cooks there. Probably you know some technique like that. But when you make it in this oven, is the best. It's just delicious. And this is the chipa. Chipa is my favorite one. It's like a bread. It's made as well as yuca, from yuca flour, and cheese and eggs and milk and butter or oil. And as you the oven as well. Again, the best chipas are made there. And I love when they make the little shapes of crocodiles, of birdies. It's just, you will find chipa everywhere. I think I have some even images of that. Oh, yes. Yes, here you have, these are the chiperos. Chipera is the lady, chipero is the man. And as you can see, this man is walking with this basket full of chipas, and he's not even putting his hand near it. He's not afraid that it's going to fall everywhere. So they walk around the city like that, and they scream, chipa, chipa, chipa caliente, que quema los dientes. That means chipa, hot, chipa that burns the teeth. So that's what they say. And they sell here this man here is selling this in a sport event. So as you can see, it's very, very important in our tradition, in our everyday, actually. This lady she is on a road. If you take a road in Paraguay, anywhere to the countryside, you will find the chiperas almost everywhere. And so if you are tired of your road, you stop and you have a chipa with a mate, and that is just the best part of the trip, I assure you. Well, here I'm going to show you a little bit of a handcraft, a little bit of pottery. Pottery is really, really important for us. Religious themes to practical things to artistic themes. This is the Nyanduti. Do you remember the story of a Nyanduti? Do you remember the story of a spider web fabric? Well, this is it. I show you the earrings that the Nyandu gave the Princess Sapuru. But here you have how it can be used, like the beautiful dress this lady is wearing, or like something for decorate the house. They are just beautiful. Here you can see the lady who is making it. It's really beautiful. Oh, here we have some of the dance in Paraguay. Have you ever seen this? The women dancing with the pots, clay pots on the head, the vases, isn't it? Or look at the bottles here. Look how many bottles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 bottles on the top of her head. Can you imagine that? Well, I will be so scared. It's too much of a responsibility for me. But can you see the dresses they are wearing, and how the men are wearing as well, their shirt and black pants, and they use this kind of belt, a thick belt made of woven fibers as well. So Paraguayan dance is really beautiful. Oh, Oh, I'm going to show you some part of my history here. So this is me when I was, let me see, 85. I was 8 years old. 8 years old, and I was dancing a Paraguayan dance. Can you see the dress I was wearing? My mother made that for me. And here I am with my friend who was dancing, who was my dance partner. And this little lady here, dressing up in a Paraguayan costume, is my eldest daughter, Maya. And here they are my mother, my little one, Naima. And as I show you some of my history, I'm going to show you a little bit more in the next slide. Here you have some of my family. Here I am with my two daughters. Here we are in the Iguazu Falls, the falls in between Paraguay, Brazil, and Argentina. Here they are, my daughters in the London's Tube. And here I am with my brothers. We are 4 brothers. Here are my sister, my little sister. I am the eldest. And here is my brother. And here is a picture of my 15th birthday, because in South America and Latin America, we celebrate the 15th birthday. It's very important. So you can see my father, my mother, and my brother and 2 sisters. And the last,
Sonia,
yes.
yeah, I was just thinking because it's already been more than an hour. Children have a lot of
Yeah.
questions. So if it
Oh,
is not important, the next part, we can skip it and maybe we can have you sing the song and then we can go to
yeah.
the question.
Okay. Okay. Just I'm going to show you that the most important instruments in Paraguayan music are the guitar and the harp. And that's it. That was actually the end of the. Let me see if I get to you. That was the end of the presentation. So,
Thank you so much. But let's have the song. Let's have you sing a song before we go to the questions.
yes, sure. So this song, I'm gonna show you some pictures. It's about a lake in Paraguay. I'm gonna show you the lake, the pictures, and I'm going to sing it to you, and you will imagine that you are there. Okay? Una noche tibia nos conocimos junto al lago azul de Pacaraí. Tú cantabas triste por el camino, viejas melodías en guaraní, y con el embrujo de tus canciones iba ya naciendo el amor en mí, y en la noche hermosa de plenilunio de tus blancas manos sentí el amor, que de tus caricias me dio el amor. ¿Dónde estás ahora, Cuñataí? Que tu suave canto no llega a mí. ¿Dónde está? Mi ser te adora con frenesí. Todo te recuerda mi dulce amor, junto al lago azul del Pacaraí. Vuelve para siempre, mi amor te espera, Cuñataí.
Thank you so much. That was so lovely. I mean, your singing was as lovely as the storytelling. Now, children, it's already 1 hour, 10 minutes. I know many of you might be hungry, waiting. So we don't really have much time for questions and answers. We'll do it for 10 minutes. So the questions, that have come most commonly. So I'm sorry. I know many of you want to have your questions answered. Many of you have asked many questions. But you see, unfortunately, we won't be able to do that. I'll ask some of the questions to Sonia. She will answer, and then we'll try and attend to the rest. But please don't mind. Please understand that. So right away, I'll start. The first question comes from that I'll ask you is from Sarah in Hyderabad. She's asking you, like in India, she says we have like the hare and the tortoise story is very popular, or the thirsty crow is very popular. Which is the most popular story in Paraguay?
The most popular will be actually a legend about the creation of this lake that I just show you. That is the most popular. That is the legend of the Lago de Ipacaraí, the Ipacaraí Lake.
Ah, I see. You know, we have one book, I was looking, we have a book of Latin American folk tales, and that has a story about the beginning of the hummingbird, which is a Guarani tale.
Yes,
just to tell you, children, Sonia told many things very importantly about the Aboriginal people. Now, the Aboriginals are what we in India call the Adivasis, you know, who have been there from the beginning, you know. And I would urge you to look up stories of the Adivasis, of the Aboriginal people, of the tribals, wonderful folk tales, wonderful traditions and stories that they have. The way you heard stories from Paraguay of the Aboriginal people of the Adivasis, similarly from here. Okay, now I think many of them have asked, what is the time there? You know, what is the time right now?
We have 8 hours and a half difference. So it's now it's 1 p.m., 1:42 p.m. Exactly.
So, right. There are many people who are asking you, what is your favorite food? Particularly Saraswati. Of course, time was asked by Sheila, Devansh. They were asking about the time. Saraswati is asking about food. There are many others who have asked about your favorite food.
My favorite food in general is tikka masala.
Tikka masala.
No, but in Paraguay, my favorite food is that what I show you there. The 3 of them are my favorite food: bejú, sopa paraguaya, and chipa.
So Suneli, Ayushman, Jitendra, Saraswati, quite a few of them had asked about that. Okay, now Anushka and Ayush and Adya all want to know, where you born in Paraguay?
I was born in Paraguay. Yes, I was born in Paraguay from Brazil, and then I live here and there, and now I live in Argentina. But yes, I was born in Paraguay. I was born in the capital, in Asuncion.
So Priyanshi and Priyanka are asking, what is the popular dress in Paraguay? What do people wear?
The dresses I show you, the ladies dancing, those are the most traditional dresses you will see in Paraguay.
Actually, many of the questions, you know, it has already been answered in the presentation. If you see it again, because the videos are always there on YouTube and Facebook, wherever you're seeing it. Niranjan is asking, which is the favorite song, which is the most popular song in Paraguay? Is it the one that you sang?
Yes, is the most popular. Yes, they know it in many countries in Europe. If I say I'm from Paraguay, they will say ¿Dónde estás ahora, Cuñataí? They will sing that to me, and yes, it is the most popular song, the most well-known song.
Right. So Sai Shubham and Adya and Amaya want to know, which is the thing that Paraguay is most famous for? Something particularly about your culture. You know, what is it? You've already talked about it, but what, you know, if someone asks you the most famous thing, or what Paraguay is most known for, its culture or whatever in its culture?
I will say the most internationally, the people recognize Paraguayan harp, the music, the harp. It would be the instrument, the harp. That will be the most well-known thing about Paraguay all around the world, because many musicians, they went Japan, Europe, United States, and they took the harp everywhere, and that is the most well-known thing about Paraguay, probably.
Ah. So Ashmit is asking, which is your favorite story? And Rupashri is asking, which is your favorite storybook?
In Paraguay,
No, it could be general. It could be general. It can be general.
Oh,
like your
in
favorite
general.
story and your favorite storybook.
Yes, well, my favorite. Oh, there are so many stories. It's so hard to say. There are so many beautiful stories. Probably from my book, my favorite book, and this I bring in it because I just watched the movie with my daughters recently. But when I was little, I read Little Women, and that was my favorite book when I was little. But then when from adulthood, there are so many great books I just love, especially Argentinians writers. I love a lot of them, and some of Brazilian writers as well. But yeah, I would say from childhood, my favorite book will be Little Women.
Ah, nice. So Pradyukta had a question from the stories that you told. How can the smell of nature come from a small perfume bottle?
Oh, because perfume is like that. It's like magical. It is magic, isn't it? You can have in a bottle. You can have the smell of flowers, of anything. So we can have the smell of humid soil and the clouds in the sky as well. If you use a little bit of your imagination, you will smell it.
That's nice. Anvesha wants to know about your journey of being a storyteller. How did you become a storyteller?
Because a friend of mine, I went to live in Europe for a few years, and when I came back to Paraguay, I met she's now a very special friend, and she was directing a storytelling group of women, just women storytellers. And she asked me, but what do you do in life? We were just meeting, and I told her, well, I wrote a book for children, I am a singer, and I love theater. I've been in a few plays, acting, playing as an actress. And she thought, but you have to become a storyteller. And I told her, what is a storyteller? That was a few years ago. I didn't even know that storytelling was an art at the time, because in Paraguay this wasn't very well known. And when I began to search and I found what a magical world it is, I thought, well, I have to jump into this. But I bring all that I love. I bring, well, you see, I love to work with fabrics. I love to sing. So I try to put all that makes my world, my universe, into my storytelling. So that's it.
I think that more or less answers this question also. Ayush was asking, what kind of stories do you like to tell?
What kind of stories? Well, the magical ones, of course. Yes. Well, I love I love to tell children's stories mostly. Well, that is what I prefer to tell. I love to tell adults stories too, but what I prefer, what I really love, is the magical world that we can create when we tell stories to children.
So the last question is about India. Ashmit and Sulagna want to know if you've been to India earlier, and Anvesha is asking, what do you like about India? You've already talked about the chicken tikka masala, of course.
Yes, I love tikka masala. Well, I practice yoga, and I haven't been to India yet.
We'll get you here.
But when I was little, my father had an Indian friend in Paraguay, and he gave us as a gift a Shakti statue. So we had that in my house since I was little, and I didn't know what it meant until I got into yoga and into getting to know a little bit more of India. So yeah, I really love your culture, your stories, and then your food is amazing. I've been very, very lucky to try a little bit of your food. I guess that it will be very different when I come to India, but I already enjoy it a lot.
Thank you so much. I hope we can, organize something and get you here. That would be wonderful to hear you to listen to you in person. But till then, thank you very much. I'm sure all of you completely enjoyed. I completely enjoyed. And we'll come back next Saturday, of course, with another country. But just before I give you a little clue to guess the country that we'll go to next Saturday, just to remind you, tomorrow, Sunday, every Sunday, we are also telling stories, but in Odia. So I think many people are a little confused. So every Saturday, we continue to travel to different countries with the best storytellers from that country. But Sundays is storytelling in Odia. Rabbi Bar, Sonia, once again, how do you say that? Rabbi Bar, Gappa Bar.
Let me see. Rabbi bar, gappa suni bare. Something
Wonderful.
like that.
Great. Okay. Now the country that we'll travel to next Saturday. The question is, now you have to guess which country it is. There are penguins in this country. Okay. In this African country, actually, there are penguins, and these penguins, the African penguins, are also known by the name of that country. So you have to guess the name of this country, and do mail us what you guessed to contactbakul@gmail.com. So thank you very much. We stop here. Goodbye. And any last words from you, Sonia?
Thank you. It's been great to be here with you. I would love to answer. I know there are many, many questions in there that we couldn't answer, but then, well, next time probably we will have the opportunity. And you can find me through Facebook, or anytime you can contact me, and I will be happy to answer your questions. So thank you, Sujit, for the invitation. It's been just amazing. I just loved your project. I think it's so wonderful that you are doing this voluntary work and sharing all these experiences with the children in your country. I really admire your work. Really beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sonia. And before we sign off, there's a feedback form there in the description of the video. Please share your feedback, because Sonia would love to hear from you. We would love to hear from you. And that's how we can, and when you write to us, we can write back to you also. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you. Bye. Bye.